We've been fostering since May of 2019, and it's something I've wanted to do since I was probably 10 or 11 years old. After we got married, I guess I brought it up, like, hey, would you ever be interested in fostering or adopting? And he's like, no, that's not really what God has called us to. And so I took that as, that it's definitely something you both have to be on the same page about. And kind of out of nowhere, a few years later, Zach came to me and said, I think we're supposed to foster.
I grew up with just one brother, so we didn't really have a spirit-led house growing up, but through my faith walk, I've read several books by David Platt, and one of them is Counterculture, and that just opened my eyes again to how the Spirit's supposed to lead us to be against what the culture says is the normal and what they say is right. We're supposed to follow the biblical truths on that. I was scared when Katie brought it up to me several years before that of we have our own kids. I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to have enough love, time, energy, all the things that we all don't think we have enough of. But through that book, it showed me that we're supposed to be obedient to it, and then just the Holy Spirit led me to all right, this is what we're going to do. And one of the things that I've learned through this is that God multiplies love. Love is not just a pie that you have infinite number of slices of, and once they're gone, you're done. But He multiplies that love. Just like every time we've had one of our own biological children, that love multiplies. Same thing with the 8 different foster kids that have come into our house.
I think one of the really cool things that God has done in our lives is opened up a ministry for us to just love on the biological parents.
Yes.
It's reunification is our number one goal, and that's the goal of foster care. And so we get a lot, how do you do that? I would just hurt so much when they leave, and I want to be able to tell you, no, it's great, it's so exciting, and it's wonderful, but the truth is it hurts a lot. We had a sibling set that we got to love on for almost 2 years, and just through different circumstances we thought that we were heading towards adoption, and it didn't turn out that way. God had a different story. And now I can look back on that and I can say, God, you wrote this beautiful story for them. But at the time, I was really conflicted because I was grieving deeply. I was grieving the loss of 3 of my children. But at the same time, I was so excited that their mom was going to get to raise them, and they were going to get to be tucked into bed at night with their mama. So much of my story early on in my young adulthood, I want to kind of throw away because it's not pretty. But I've realized God is a God who writes a story of redemption. And He has used some of the, not prettier parts of my story, and He's redeemed them. So I've talked about our love for biological families. A lot of the moms we have met through this foster care journey are young, and they're incredibly young. The fact that I was a young mom, I recognize, had I not had the support system I had with my family, our close friends, my parents gave me the ability to go to college and finish my degree and helped me when I was a single mom. These biological moms don't always have that. Most of the times they haven't had a support system. So God has used my story to give me an extra level of compassion and sympathy and empathy for these mamas that I see in a different way. God has called us to see, we're not looking down on anybody. We're coming alongside them, and we're going to be a support system for them the same way I was able to have a support system. It just looks differently.
There's just kiddos who need love while their parents learn how to be better parents. They're not outcasts. They're not kids from that are out causing troubles. They're just kids who have unfortunately experienced trauma. And so we can show them a little bit of Jesus' love while they're in our house. Time and time again, we're like, I don't think I can do this. And God's like, yes, you can. And here's how I'm going to walk beside you on it. And He does. He shows up every single time.
God taught me this beautiful, beautiful thing that we live in a tension. This side of heaven, is full of tension. It's joy and it's grief. And that's one of the major things that God has taught me through foster care, is that we get to love on these biological parents. We get to love on the biological families. We get to love on these children. And when they go home, if it hurts, it means we did our job right.